Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, has hit out at President Biden for what he calls the hypocrisy of potentially imposing travel bans domestically when the president has signed executive orders allowing more migrants into the country. This stinks to high heaven. It is a huge contradiction, and you can't square wanting opening borders for illegal aliens, but then also restricting US citizens from basically travelling around the country as they see fit. And I think the American people see the hypocrisy in that, he said in an interview with Fox News. In the first week of February, a report by the New York Times noted that the US Border Patrol agents have let in hundreds of migrant families into the country. In San Diego, health authorities mandated that migrants coming into California must remain in a hotel for 10 days before moving to other parts of the country. Migrants who show no symptoms of the coronavirus apparently do not have to abide by any quarantine regulation. DeSantis calls out the double standard of allowing migrants into the country without being screened for COVID-19 as motivated purely by political reasons. The media had earlier reported that Washington was considering placing domestic air travel restrictions. However, White House spokeswoman Jen Psaki announced that the administration had made no such decision. DeSantis called the potential air travel restrictions unconstitutional and a political attack against Florida that heavily depends on tourism for its economy. The Biden administration has also ruled out the possibility of COVID-19 tests for domestic travel at the moment. Meanwhile, in a recent staff report authored by Republicans Tom McClintock and Jim Jordan, it states that illegal aliens will view Biden's policies as an invitation to enter the United States, even though Homeland Security has warned people not to interpret policies in such a manner. If the Biden administration continues to undo President Trump's immigration policy successes and implement a radical immigration agenda, it will result in less security at the border, reduced interior enforcement, and an increased risk from criminals and other aliens who want to do us harm, the report states. Planned Parenthood, which gained a reputation as a supporter of women's rights, including abortion, has become the #1 supplier of the hormones used for teens and children as they transition to the opposite gender, reports Breitbart News. The abortion giant is currently the second largest provider of the country's gender-affirming hormone and is working to expand access continually. Lupron is a hormone commonly used for prostate cancer in men and endometriosis in women. It is also currently prescribed to children and adolescents suffering from gender dysphoria, a psychological condition. It can block puberty hormones, allowing the child to then change to the opposite sex. St. Louis-based pediatric endocrinologist Dr. Paul Kreutz told Christian Post that much is unknown about giving hormone blockers like Lupron to children. The drug's side effects include malignant tumours, cardiovascular events such as heart attacks and blood clots, suicidal behaviour and other psychological disorders, brittle bones and painful joints, and sterility. Despite suffering attacks over trafficking in aborted babies' body parts and eradicating gender identity, the number of Planned Parenthood centres has risen dramatically over the past several years. The organisation reported an 80% increase in centres offering this service. 11 additional states started to provide hormone therapy to transgender individuals. Even pharmaceutical companies have benefited from these gender transitioning hormone treatments. California-based endocrinologist and specialist on childhood gender identity, Dr. Michael Laidlaw, said Lupron monthly is $775 alone. That's a $27,000 pause button at 5 years of age. Multiply this together with a huge rise in cases documented or observed in Western nations, and a major windfall is to be had.